you so much for coming. I know that you don't like interviews much, so we'll make sure this is a conversation, not an interview.
Tonight, I think.
No, it's fine. You've got your lapel mic on your...
All right, thank you very much.
We can hear you.
All right.
Can everyone hear us?
You can hear me? It's all rubbish anyway. Go on.
Well, it's a great pleasure to have you here, so thank you.
Thank you.
I think we should obviously start off with Harry Potter and Dumbledore, because that's what you're most well known for nowadays.
Yeah.
And when you took on that role of Dumbledore, did you feel great pressure in replacing Richard Harris, who of course died after the first two films?
No, I knew Richard. I knew him quite well. I used to knock around with him, and of course when he died, in his second year of Harry Potter, wasn't it? Yeah. They rang me up and I jumped at it. I didn't have to think at all. I was quite happy. And so I just pretended I knew him quite well, and I copied him a bit. And then I turned up at the studios and did it. That's all.
So you
not quite as simple as that.
You didn't have to audition for the role, they just
No, I didn't. No, they let me do it. And my first entrance as Dumbledore, I went up a staircase and I ran up. And the director came up and said, "You mustn't do that." I said, "What?" He said, "Run up." I said, "Well, I want to run up." And he said, "No, our other actor didn't run up." So I said, "Well, I'm going to run up." So I ran up. And then he never spoke to me again.
Do you ever have to audition for roles anymore, or do you always get approached?
No, I've been very lucky. I don't think I've ever auditioned for a part. I'm telling you the truth. I can't look back at my long, 200-year journey. I never had to audition. I did audition once for Sir Lawrence. And I was 20-something, very young, and I didn't know who he was. And he said to me, "What are you going to do?" And I said, "Richard III." And anyway, he said, "Go back to the end of the room and start the speech." And I went back, and I got to the end of the room. I was shaking with fear, and I put my hand around the column and spun round, terrified, and I said, "Was ever woman in this nature wooed?" And with that, of course, I cut my hand open on the pole. This was a nail there. And Olivier came running down to me. He said, "Oh God, quick, what's happened?" I said, "It doesn't matter." He said, and he held me like that, and he gave me a hanky, and he said, "Go home, that's serious." I said, "It's not serious, is it? It's just cut a bit." And so he said, "No, go home, I want you to go home." He said, "I've got to go anyway." So I went home, and 2 days later, I got a phone call offering me a job. So
that's the way to do it.
And I was there for 3.5 years with him.
Well, of course, Sir Laurence Olivier was one of your great mentors, Ralph Richardson as well.
Yeah.
What was it like working with them?
I loved them all. They're great. You know, after I'd been with Olivier for 3.5 years, I asked for an appointment with him, and he said, "What do you want?" And I said, "I want to know if I can have bigger parts." And he said, "What, you want me to sack other actors to give you a part?" And I said, "No," he was just mucking about, he wasn't serious. Anyway, within 2 weeks, he'd got me a series or a time at the theatre in the Midlands. I can't remember what it's called, but I stayed there another year. So he was very kind to me. I was very happy.
Let's go back to Dumbledore. Of course, when you took on the role, everyone noticed quite a change in the character, from a wise, wispy old man to a more assertive figure that you played.
Yeah.
Was that a conscious change on your part?
Not really. You read a script, and the script rings bells in your head, and you make up dreams about what you've just read. And so when I went on to do Dumbledore, I knew how to play him. I can't tell you how, but you get something inside you that tells you what you're going to do from a script. The script informs you of the process, sort of. Good ones, bad ones don't. So it informed me of something, and I went on that stage for my first performance, and no one said that was bad. No one said that was good either. And on I went, and I was there for the rest of 6 years, more than 6 years.
Were there other changes to the character that you tried to make?
No, there was one quite funny one which I threatened to make him gay. No, what's her name, who wrote Harry Potter, told me, she told me that Dumbledore was gay. And she just decided that day that he was gay. You know, we'd been on for about 3 years, and so I started all that sort of stuff on the set, you know. And the director came running over to me and said, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I said, "The woman who wrote this play told me I was gay." He said, "No, she didn't." I said, "Yes, she did." So she was there that day, and he asked her, and she's only mucking about. But she did want Dumbledore to end up as being gay, but that's a true bit. But I didn't play gay. I just played what I am now, you know. But that bit, you know, made me laugh a bit sometimes. Oh, hello. Don't.
But she didn't tell you in advance everything about the character. You had to learn as you were.
No, never told me a thing. Never spoke to me about the character. I mean, I must have been doing all right because she always spoke to me and was a nice girl and a nice woman. And I never had any problems at all.
How much of the rest of the story were you told in advance before it all came out? Did you know that Snape was going to turn out to be good all along?
No, they made that up as they went along, didn't they? I mean, they gave you a script that you know will last, you know, that year, that 6 months, whatever the shoot was, but the next year's script would be different. You just read that. So you didn't know in advance what was happening.
So you were learning, like all of us as fans, as you went along?
Learning what?
You were just learning about the story as things went along?
Yes, you just learn the story as you go along, and then in the end they decided to kill me. And I can't say I blame them. And so they killed me in the last, one before the last, wasn't it? He pushed me off a mountain. You know that bugger, what's his name? He died a few weeks ago. He was my best friend. What's his name?
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman. Alan Rickman had to kill me, throw me off the side of the mountain. That's what he did. And that's how we ended it. But I came back as a dead man the following year when I had to walk along with Daniel Radcliffe, and he's holding my hand. Remember that bit?
I do.
Yeah, I'm floating. It was my best part.
There's a well-known story of you and Alan Rickman playing a prank on Daniel Radcliffe by putting a fart machine in his sleeping... Playing a prank.
A parrot?
A prank.
A prank?
You know, a joke. A practical joke.
Yeah, a joke.
You put a fart machine in his sleeping bag on the set.
Yeah, we had to... the director told me that I got to hide... Daniel wanted to sleep next to a beautiful girl.
Next to or with?
Huh?
Next to or with?